It's always a good sign when the producer laughs at us before we start the show.
It's normal.
All right, 32X, you got this?
Here we go.
Look it up now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hadfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Sam Claiborne,
Electronic Gaming Monthly Scoop.
and Casey DeFreitas is here.
Hello.
And we have a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about SpiderMan. We'll talk a bit about Shadow of War. But first, it is that time of year once again, ladies and gentlemen. It is.
What?
We're 25% done with 2018.
Unbelievable.
Which means...
Really?
Wait, really? I've spent
Yeah.
25% of the year playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. The math
really
checks
crazy.
out.
We're one quarter down, which means it is time for Game of the Year Watch.
I like that theme song intro. Good job.
We'll add it in post.
The flames in post.
Maybe just the whole thing.
Explosions.
No,
Game
that
of the
was
Year
added
Watch.
in post. He didn't do that live.
Yeah, what you heard is not possible.
It was just silence.
I mean, it was way too realistic.
We paused for 5 seconds while the theme song played.
Yep.
Yeah, Game of the Year Watch. It's time for Game of the Year Watch 2018 to begin. There are just a handful of games so far that have gotten a score of 9 or higher from IGN, and including 110 so far this year, which was Celeste, of course, which I played a bit of, and I thought it was really cool. I'm eager to play some more of it. Did anyone else play Celeste?
I intend to.
Yeah,
Same.
it's one of those.
I've been really intimidated because I'm not the best at platformers. And I saw Chloe and Dornbush
Yeah.
going at it, like trying to beat their high scores.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going back and forth trying to do the time.
Yeah.
You just
You're
turn on
good at
assist
Monster
mode.
Hunter. You'll be fine at any platform.
Yeah, I know.
be fine.
I'll be fine. But it came out on Switch recently. So I was just, now I'm even more inclined to get it than I was before because now I can take it with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing it on. Very cool pixel art 2D platformer with lots of clever ideas. The rules are always sort of changing, so you can't get too comfortable. Switching gravity.
It's got that jump dash combination.
There's a jump dash combo.
But it's also not so punishing to be super frustrating, which
Yeah.
is why I think I'm going to pick it up and play it anyway. Because if you die, it just instantly responds to you. There's no waiting, there's no loading times, and the story is supposed to be really compelling and
Yeah,
interesting.
I've heard the story is very good. I don't think I've made it far enough to have much of the story revealed to me yet.
Bionic Commando story is pretty good too.
Spoilers. Your dead wife is your arm.
Not that Bionic Commando story.
Isn't that all of them?
No, in the original, there's no wife arm.
There's no wife arm in
They
the
just-
original
you-
Bionic Commando.
Hitler has come back from the dead and makes a bunch of monsters you have to fight, and
And you
mechs, I
can't.
should
And then
say.
you can't jump.
Yeah.
You can't jump, and then you fall off a ledge and shoot him in the face
Yes, that's
because you can't jump.
yeah.
We were gonna do a Hitler killing montage when Call of Duty World War II came out. All the times you kill him in games.
Is there two?
Oh yeah.
Kill Hitler in World War II? I mean, I didn't play the campaign.
I don't
so I don't know. There can't be that many times you kill Hitler.
there's
in a video
Wolfenstein.
game.
There's
yeah.
I can
Bionic
only think of
Commando.
Inglourious Bastards, which is a movie,
Yeah.
and Bionic Commando.
Wolfenstein. 3D.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah. He's in a
original
mech
one.
suit.
In the original.
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's so
Anyway, Casey, you mentioned playing so much Monster Hunter World.
Yes, I did.
That game we gave a 9.5. That game's very cool. I played a bunch of that game.
And I do agree with that. I was actually trying to convince Scrubbles covertly, who reviewed the game, to give it a few
Our
extra.
UK office.
Yeah, give it a few extra points. But it's a really great game. It's really captured my attention. I've put in about 300 hours into it. I have friends who don't do this for a job, who's put in 500 hours.
What?
So far?
That's crazy.
It's incredibly crazy, but they still hold jobs.
That's
and
20 days.
that's
say
a
so.
lot.
That's too many.
I think it was an average of 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But the interesting thing about the psychology of that is if you didn't have this job, if you were just Casey DeFreitas on the street doing whatever you did for a living, like you might also have 500 hours.
Yeah.
though,
Oh, yeah,
right? But
absolutely.
then once you're forced to do it for work, you're like, I don't want to do this.
No way. You got sick of it, right?
I still play it.
Oh, that good.
It's just a really fun game, especially when all of your friends are playing and you just like hop
Yeah.
online, see all of your friends playing Monster, and it's like, oh, I'll do a few hunts.
If you can
What's
time
your-
it right, if you can ride that wave of like, going through the continent at the same time as them.
Yeah, totally. Otherwise, you miss out.
I mean,
what about the 200 to 500 hour mark? What are your goals?
Make all of the armor sets perfectly to go with the weapons that you want to use. But there are so many different armor combinations.
Okay.
And then you also want to grind
2.
for you also want to grind for jewels that you can attach to your armor to make it more specialized.
Grinding the jewels.
You need to grind to get different weapons.
Is that a third one?
A new album.
Yeah,
out.
I guess it's
Third.
a third one.
Grinding the
And
jewels.
then you also have
First
to
LP.
grind for streamstone shards, which augment
Gotta
your
get
armor and
streamstones.
weapons to give them special abilities like extra crit or
So
So-
can
health
you get
healing.
all of those things and then just be done?
that. I
No.
yes, but it would take so
600 hours.
long.
Yes, with an asterisk. That's what I'm always fascinated by. Like I played World of Warcraft for a long time, and part of the appeal from a min-maxing standpoint, the people that want to eke out every like extra 1% of damage is, it's not enough to just level up your character. You also have to have the gear, and then you have to have the gems in the gear, and then you have to have it's actually very similar to WoW. You have to have like the modifiers for your attacks and like the potions, and there's always like one more thing you can do to get like a little bit more damage.
But
a
if you
little bit-
can kill all the monsters pretty easily now, why do you want the other gear?
Because it's cool.
Even
And it makes it better.
Is it cosmetic? Is it cool? Like
It's
that way?
because it's there.
Yeah, I guess because it's there. And also, grinding isn't boring like it is in some other games. Just because I've beat a monster before doesn't mean it's now easy because I've done it one time. It's still always a challenge. There's always going to be a chance that you get killed. Like I was fighting Devil Joe, which is the new DLC monster that came out while I was on vacation.
Devil Joe.
It's a sequel to regular
and
Joe.
I was
Beautiful, Joe.
Sequel to Super Joe.
the
Super
death
Joe.
pickle, and I was trying to use a heavy bowgun against it, and found out that I was having a really hard time because I didn't have the right augmentations
Rookie
to
mistake.
make it
You
better.
know how it goes.
Yeah.
No, but he
tell
actually they call it carted, like when you lose all of your HP, they cart you back to the camp. He carted me a couple times. Like I never got a failure, but
Who carts you?
Devil Joe.
cats.
Cats.
Yeah, the
Cats.
cats.
Carted
Yeah,
by
and a
cats.
monster knocks you out, and the cats come pick you up and cart you off.
And has Mega Man been added yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But yeah, Mega Man's
Skinning
coming.
The cats is Mega Man.
Yeah,
Okay, because you can have the skin of Ryu and
yeah, and they're coming out with a
Aloy.
Sakura
Aloy from
skin
Horizon.
and a Dante skin and some special Dante weapons.
but now the cat. Your
Can be
cat
Mega Man.
companion, what did they call
Yeah, they have the
Mega
Palico.
Cat.
it? Mega Cat.
Yes.
Mega Cat. Yeah, and another really cool thing is that Capcom seems to really be listening to fans with this game. With the recent update, they added the ability to go back to headquarters with your party, which is just the Gathering Hall is a place that you didn't really go to a lot, but it's the only place you can go in between quests and see everyone. And so now they added an option after quest. You can just automatically go there. And they
a little
also,
little social space.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Monster Scoop.
And then they also made it so that you cannot
What are you
interrupt a
doing?
player. You cannot interrupt a player when they're carving monster parts.
I see where this is going.
But,
So how are you going to spend your game purchase
Fighter's Edge points?
Fighter's Edge points?
obviously on the Hadoken gesture in Monster Hunter, which I think is $250. No,
There's an
I
ad.
have
On,
no
there's
idea.
an ad for a Capcom game on the back of the CGM, which says
Spoilers.
you can get 20 Fighter's Edge points, which you can spend on whatever you want. By just-
Anything.
yeah, whatever you want by purchasing Street Fighter Alpha 3
were kind of-
for PlayStation. So
Fighter's Edge points were kind of the Bitcoin of 1999.
Yeah.
Except no one got rich off them and they were useless.
But if
you
you
know.
still owned them,
Ugh.
you're Damon's
Just sitting on it. Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
waiting on the right moment
if you
to
hadn't spent them
sell
on those
them.
Capcom stickers and
Capcom definitely hit on something with Monster Hunter World because Casey is a long-time Monster Hunter fan, and I had never played a Monster Hunter game before, and it still resonated with me too, and I had a lot of fun with it. So that game is very cool, and I would guess if the IGN audience were going to pick their favorite game of the year so far, I would guess they'd probably pick Monster Hunter World, just as that game's been so popular.
Yeah, and besides Celeste, and Shadow of the Colossus, it's the only thing this
Yeah.
year so far has gotten more than a 9.
Well, there's Subnautica, got a 9.1 for PC, and I haven't played that one, but I think it's some sort of like world like sim.
That's why it was
Underwater.
early access, then finally came out of early access. It was one of those games that had been out a long time. Yeah, like a Minecraft-y survival game with a heavy underwater exploration element.
Yeah.
Very gorgeous game.
Yeah, that one looks cool.
Yep.
And then finally, Into the Breach, the follow-up from the FTL guys, their roguelike turn-based strategy game. Which
I've
is very
got
cool.
to get into that game. Like,
really
I love FTL so much. I love Advance Wars so much. Like, I feel like that's one of those games. And I also see Dan Stapleton playing it on Steam a lot.
Still playing it, even after reviewing it.
And he still
Oh, wow,
goes.
that's a good
he
sign.
still goes back to XCOM 2 as well. I see, like, I'm playing Far Cry or whatever on Steam, and I see Dan pop into XCOM a lot.
Those are his two mainstays.
Yeah.
Huh, that's fun.
And like that's such a great sign when you. So look, like even a really really wonderful game, playing a game for review is intense, and you have to play it more than you want to. And so, if you still come back to a game after you finish that review, that's when
or a strategy guide in case he's.
you've landed on something solid gold.
Dan, when you were doing strategy guides, was there anyone that you still wanted to play after the guide was finished?
Iron Man for Wii.
Yeah, you're really into that
After I
one.
finished that guide, I was like, I'm gonna go back and fly this poop log that's supposed to be Iron Man on this muddy, stupid level. Yes, I wrote that guide.
That is it for new games this year. Getting a 9 or higher. Celeste, Monster Hunter World, Subnautica, and Into the Breach. Honorable mentions would go to Shadow of the Colossus, of course, 9.7. Street Fighter V Arcade Edition got a 9, and Bayonetta 2 for the Switch got a 9.
Well, of course you gave Far Cry 5 an 8.9.
I did. I guess that's a type of 9.
Great.
Yeah. It's just taking the 9 and then putting a point and an 8 in front of it.
But is that your favorite game this year so far?
That's the game I've had the most fun with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus, yeah.
Are we
What a boring
considering?
answer, but it's
Are
true.
we considering Shadow of the Colossus for Game of the Year? Is it?
I don't
No.
think that would be.
Well,
we have a
I-
different category for that.
Yeah, there's
we-
best remake.
Okay.
With this best remake, we revisit our rules, so it's possible
Mm-hmm.
we'll change our rules this year. But typically, for the big tentpole awards, it can't be a remake or
Okay.
remaster, and then they're eligible in a few
I was-
specific categories.
So I was thinking that might be kind of unfair for Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
To
I
be
mean,
considered again.
Shadow at least is a full-on remake.
But it didn't win
all,
before.
All new graphics and
I
all
think
that
it
stuff.
did in 2000. Was
It
it
did?
5 that was out? Yeah, I'm
It becomes
pretty sure.
particularly tricky where a game is just ported, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they don't update it or remake it, it's just the same game again. Then it gets a little bit hard to know what to do with it in end of year award season.
Yeah. So if the year were ending today, if today was December 31st, what would you pick as your favorite game of the year? Casey, I'm imagining it's Monster Hunter
It's
World.
Monster Hunter World.
Interesting.
I would go with Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I would probably go. I'm trying to think. I think Far Cry is the only 2018 game I've played. You know, because I told you I've been playing Pillars of Eternity
Yeah.
and catching up on some old stuff, and so Far Cry might be it wins by default for me. Although
Did you read the list of 8s at all?
I didn't.
Yeah, I do want to throw.
what are we missing?
So Dragon Ball Fighters and Ni no Kuni 2.
you have notes.
Yeah, I do have notes. I
Good
made
notes.
notes. Iconoclast,
Yeah. I still need to
Detective
do that one.
Pikachu?
Detective Pikachu. Yeah, that's right. I actually don't know what Miranda scored it. I don't remember.
It was like a 7.5, I think.
That was
Okay.
an
You might have dropped it a few
8.3.
points.
I don't know.
But I do want to give an honorable mention to Ni no Kuni 2 because I did.
I hear really
From
good
what
things
I've
about
played, I liked it. It's definitely the combat is better than it was in the first, but it's missing the monster collection aspect, and the story is way more shallow.
But they replaced the monster collecting with kingdom building.
Yes, they did.
And that's why I'm playing any game that has kingdom building.
Yeah.
Justin's there. And I played 3 or 4 hours of it and didn't get to the kingdom building.
No,
yet.
yeah, no. The first 5 hours, I was really bored, and then the world opens up, and they let you do kingdom building, and all the side quests open up, and it becomes really fun and interesting and varied.
I think I probably stopped right before all that. But now I got a bear named Cheeseburger, and we're going on adventures in
want a
Far
bear
Cry
named
5.
That's
to
for
clarify.
So, hot tips: how do you get the cougar in Far Cry 5?
Oh, it's a mission. It's like a
mission?
story mission. Peaches is her name.
so
about a
cute.
literal cougar, or are we talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
about the
I mean, actually, that's a
large
fair
cat.
question.
Yeah,
Far Cry
I know.
5.
Yes,
Because there actually is that type of
and it
cougar
is
in the
Cougar
game, too.
Country.
It's a story mission where you the cougar has like escaped, and you have to lure the cougar back to its cage. And on the way,
Best friends.
yeah, and then you become best
Oh,
friends.
you are talking about a literal cougar.
I wouldn't
Yes.
trust the
I thought you were talking about the pilot.
No, but that's all. I said there is another cougar in the game.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a bear and a cougar, and both those are not reliable pets, I would say.
Although I was playing Far Cry 5 on a stream today, I was live streaming, and I had Peaches, the cougar, with me, and we were hunting some bears, and I shot the bear, and I didn't realize, with my shotgun,
Oh, no.
I didn't realize I had incendiary slugs in, so the bear catches on fire, sets everything on fire, sets Peaches on fire, but she's smart. She stops, drops, and rolls, but she's like burned all over, and it looks terrible.
Oh, no.
She's like, her
her
fur
coat's actually
is like burned all over, and so she's just like charred
I
black.
gotta take her to the vet.
I know, I felt so bad. It looked really gross and painful, and I felt terrible.
Now
Far
I've
Cry
got a
5.
burned mountain lion.
Yeah. Yeah, she healed up pretty fast. Sam, what would you pick as your?
Oh, I'd have to Kobayashi Maru it, change the rules, and
Yeah.
go Shadow of the Colossus because that's my favorite experience this year so far.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's beautiful. It's a really, really beautiful game.
I also really liked Owlboy. Owlboy came out this year, I believe.
On Switch.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just on Switch. Yeah, well, then also I want to mention Darkest Dungeon, which came out on Switch this year. And
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of things that are getting ported to Switch this year. So it will be even a tough category for Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, with Dark Souls out soon and stuff like that. You know.
I keep mousing over, I guess, hovering over Darkest Dungeon on the Switch eShop and almost buying it. And then I don't because I've already bought it twice and I don't want to buy it a third time. But it's like, what is it, $15?
$20 maybe, yeah.
It's like I spent $12 on lunch today.
Yeah.
I should just buy it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely enjoy it more than that po' boy.
Did you get 12 tacos?
I got a po'
I
boy.
don't think you can get dollar tacos anywhere around here.
Taco Bell.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Probably a Taco Bell. We have a Taco Bell cantina.
Excuse me, I have to leave. I need to go see a man about a taco.
Looking a little bit ahead into later in the year, of course, God of War will be coming this month. Is that right? This
Yeah.
month? Yeah,
April
April
20th.
20th.
Huzzah!
Yeah, so that one's.
Same day as Labo.
Oh, that's right,
Game
in
of the
Labo.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peripheral of the year? I don't know.
I don't know what
Counts
you
as
would
a
call
game.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely software with it. So
That's true.
that'll be interesting to see if
will
there's
be
like little Nintendo Easter eggs and stuff in there. I
Do
don't
we-
know anything about it.
Do we have like a review plan lined up with we're reviewing all that stuff? Okay.
Yeah. I think the two packages have their own separate reviews.
There's only 2 separate things coming out at launch, but they numbered them 1 and 2. The implication being there'll be more down the line, but we'll see.
Well, I am hearing very good things about God of War. I'm super excited for that. Then looking a little bit more further ahead, we found out today that SpiderMan, we got the release date. SpiderMan is out September 7th
Pretty early.
later this year, which I think that makes it the game that will kind of kick off the fall holiday season.
Yeah.
And that's PS4 and PC only?
Just
PS4
PS4.
only.
PS4. Okay.
Yeah, that is a PS4 exclusive, a huge exclusive for PS4.
I've gotten by with just a regular PS4, and I feel like Spider-Man, well, and God of War to an extent, but I think particularly Spider-Man might be the game that pushes me into PS4 Pro land.
Yeah,
Honestly, Monster Hunter made me realize how much better the Pro performs.
yeah.
That was a big difference. When
Yeah,
you guys were playing in the
huge
office, it was
difference.
like just frame rate and just there's so much stuff in the distance and then just fighting a monster. Like
Yeah.
you actually kind of need this higher frame rate, you know. It looks different.
It looks, it's not nearly as smooth. It's kind of choppy on the regular PS4.
Yeah.
Fine. I want one.
Spider-Man, we got a Spider-Man game every year for 10
used
years
to.
or so. And it got so, we got so oversaturated that I would they would get like 6s and 7s,
Yeah.
And I would never look forward to it. So I think it's really funny that the industry is all looking forward to a Spider-Man game now.
Yeah, well, we like
Just
our
because
new.
there's been a gap.
Well, Spider-Man 2
And the
was-
developer's awesome.
And Spider-Man 2 is like very nostalgic.
Yeah,
for
people love that game.
A lot of us. That
But
game
there was like
great.
6 after that.
I don't know about any of those.
That ultimate.
stopped at
what's
2.
the one where
They
you're
just
like
kept
6
coming out,
Spider-Man?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That was called Shattered Dimensions.
I mean, we're seeing,
Okay,
as
no,
we
I do know
record
about
this, we're
those.
seeing more and
I
more
just-
from, it's Game Informer's cover story, right, this week. And so we're getting new Spider-Man information and everything we're seeing, just all the locomotion for how he moves. Like, who knows? Any number of things can come out and elements of the game might not work. But early indications based off what we're seeing are they completely got it right.
3 to 4 times the size of Sunset Overdrive, which they said before. They said you can play as Mary Jane.
And it's the web slinging, like the swinging. They finally understood for the first time since Spider-Man 2 that like you have to take your time and get that right. If you get moving around the city feeling right, the rest of it is easy to fall into place.
There's a jean jacket where you can be Spider-Punk.
Oh, we also have Octopath Traveler coming out this year.
well, I'm very excited for that. Yeah. Do we ever? I know that's coming this summer.
July?
Is there a hard release date on that yet? I just didn't remember. I was
July.
just July.
That's soon.
Yeah, it is really soon.
And there's no other big games coming out.
All right, so Spider-Man is out September 7th, and that makes me feel a little sorry for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which previously announced its launch date as September 14th, coming just 1 week after Spider-Man.
Well, surely, Damon, they'll just push it back a few weeks, right?
I mean, it's already been pushed back sometimes, so I don't know.
And nothing else is coming out after that.
I think Spider-Man is definitely a bigger game than Shadow of the Tomb Raider, even though I love Tomb Raider.
Is Shadow this time? That's on all systems, right?
yeah,
It's not like just on Xbox.
No, it's not an Xbox exclusive this time.
It's not Crystal Dynamics, so we'll have to see. I feel like E3 will make or
What
break.
kind of is Crystal Dynamics?
It's unclear whether it's
They have 2
Crystal
developers
or
listed on their
Eidos
website.
Montreal.
So I think there's going to be Yeah, I don't know. I think that means I think it's a good thing because Crystal Dynamics is overseeing it.
I don't know that just 7 days is enough time for Spider-Man to have its moment, and then to allow Tomb Raider to have its moment. So I don't know. We'll see if
Tomb Raider's coming out on more than
that's true.
PlayStation.
That's a really good point.
So if you're an Xbox gamer,
That's actually a really good point. Maybe Microsoft would want to lean into that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's 1 week after Spider-Man. And then in October, we've got Black Ops 4 on October 12th and Red Dead Redemption 2 on October 26th.
I think that's going to be a really, really big contender.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Black Ops is the premier Call of Duty sub franchise at this point. Although I really liked Infinite Warfare, so I'm sad to see that wasn't received too well. But, Call of Duty had a few shaky years. Like I shouldn't say I'm speaking broadly, but nobody really liked Ghost that much.
It's always either the best-selling game of the year.
But I just mean like it felt like maybe Call of Duty had fallen off. Like they had a few stumbles between Ghosts and Infinite Warfare, but then World War II was huge. So in 2 or 3 years we'll see them return back to that. Black Ops is huge, so that franchise has definitely found its footing and found new relevance for I don't know, probably another decade as they continue to sort of mine these sub brands.
And of course, Red Dead Redemption, probably the single most anticipated game of the year.
It will absolutely be this year's
What about,
biggest game.
is Kingdom Hearts 3 still coming out this year?
I mean,
No one knows.
It's still supposed to come out this year.
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts
date.
3?
yeah, that's the point. These are these are just the 4 games of fall that we have hard release dates for.
Okay.
There's plenty of other games that are going to come out. We just don't know. We'll know after E3, basically.
It's tough to understate how important Red Dead will be.
Yeah, that's true.
A Rockstar game, I've talked about it on Scoop a few times in the past, but when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, in my entire career in this business, I have never, ever seen anything like that in terms of every video you wrote, every article you wrote. Like, people could not get enough of that
Pokemon Go is
game.
the other one.
Man, I don't know. Like in terms of IGN traffic, it doubled our traffic when it came out. There were twice as many people. There was one half of the site reading everything else, and then half the site reading GTA 5 stuff. It was absolutely insane.
Our cheats and secrets wiki is still
The most popular
It's still
page in
really
IGN
huge.
history, right?
yeah.
And it's still full price on the store.
Yeah.
PlayStation Store.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Red Dead, even though for me, the Western setting is very appealing and fascinating, I think that does limit its appeal somewhat compared to a contemporary game. So I don't think Red Dead 2 will reach GTA 5 heights, but even so, man.
What if Westworld is so big, second season, that it pushes people all to be into Westerns, and then it just the stars align, and it's just the biggest game on the planet?
It's all about Shogun World now.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
Game of
that's a
Thrones
good point.
catapulted a bunch of medieval political
Yeah.
royal stuff to happen, a bunch of shows and spin-offs, and I'm sure
that's
people
true.
are interested in games because of that as well.
Not enough games have
Yeah,
come
no,
out since
definitely
Game of
not.
Thrones, which are inspired by it.
There,
It's weird.
there are no good Game of Thrones. I guess the Telltale one.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
What is the Shogun based game coming out from?
Shenmue?
Oh,
Ghost
Ghost
of
of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Well,
Probably see that.
Shenmue 3 was announced, right?
Yeah.
That was an E3 thing.
Kickstarted, yeah.
And that's just a guy
yeah.
in a small town.
Yeah.
He's not a Shogun.
Yet.
My bad.
Maybe by 4.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see with Black Ops 4 in early October, Red Dead 2 in late October, where does EA want to go with Battlefield this year? I don't know. Typically, Call of Duty comes in early November. They jump back.
They haven't even announced Battlefield. I mean, we're assuming there's a Battlefield.
Or there could just be another Battlefront. We just have no idea.
Well, no, they've said in an investor's call this year's Battlefield.
Battlefield,
here.
okay.
Yeah. There's the rumors that it's going to be called Battlefield V, something like that.
What would that be?
5.
Well, yeah, but you can just say 5.
But
Because they
have all
they
sorts
did
of branding
one.
reasons. They did one, yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if Battlefield takes the spot in November.
I think there'll be Battlefield 2 and it'll be World War 2, just like Battlefield 1 was World War 1.
Yeah.
But isn't that too much like WW2?
Yeah, there's no cops, man. You can do whatever you want.
There are cops. And of course, Nintendo will have Smash Brothers. Coming
Yes.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Sometime this fall, I would guess.
Really excited about that.
All right, that's just a look, trying to keep track of all the big Game of the Year contenders. But let's move along to a game that came out last year that is still in the news this week. Middle-earth Shadow of War was slightly controversial last fall for launching with microtransactions. You could pay real-world money for orc followers, and it was sort of lumped into the big...
You definitely didn't need to.
No, you didn't need to, but it was singled out.
Even then,
that along with Battlefront 2, it was singled out as games.
But it's so crazy. The news, which you're going to get to, is that microtransactions were removed. But even at the time, why did Battlefront get raked over the coals, and then Shadow of War got kind of a pass
because it unbalances multiplayer. That was like the big difference.
I think it was a
yeah,
little
but
bit more
there's multiplayer
egregious.
in Shadow of War too. You
No,
know,
no.
invading other people's fortresses and stuff. That was the whole reason to spend money on that game, was to get better orcs to defend your.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's not as
It didn't feel
not
the
like
same.
PvP.
It's not as it's not as direct.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But and it was a target, and it was controversial, and they made their money, and now it's canceled.
Yeah, so like the game was still very successful. It was the best-selling game of October, the month it launched in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And now that some time has passed, the controversy has died down. Now they're pulling the microtransactions.
So the WB, that's the question. You know, as Sam just alluded, did they say, "Hey, look, we're going to be the bigger. We're taking microtransactions out of our game, guys. We heard your feedback. No more microtransactions." Or like, okay, we already got paid.
Yeah, like the
Or it's like both. Like, we heard you, and they're just stuffing this money. Like, we heard you, and we love our fans. And I'm just
Well, and surely, like, I don't know, man. I do tend to lean towards that second option because their DLC is done, as far as I know. They don't have any.
no.
more
There
DLC.
is a big expansion coming next.
The
I
big
think
one's
it's in
still coming.
May.
Well, that's interesting.
So that's what makes me think they've got this big expansion coming. They want to, build up some goodwill before that. Maybe that's part of
some
the reason.
accountant somewhere weighed how much money they're making off the microtransactions versus how many more, $40 or $60 copies of that game can they sell at full price by removing the microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly.
And that one.
That's the
yeah,
money
it's
guy.
cynical. Here's a cool thing.
Yeah.
They in the interview with the SpiderMan developer today, he was asked, "Will there be microtransactions in SpiderMan?" And he said, "Hell no."
But like, what a third
right
rail
answer.
now, right?
Yeah, it totally is.
Now
It's
that-
like you just have to avoid that. You were gonna have to come up with a different way to just do microtransactions that look nothing like that. That'll happen for sure.
Like the word loot box is going to go away. They're
Yeah.
like, we don't have loot boxes. We have whatever. It's not going to matter. Like treasure keys. Like they're just going to come up with some other.
No microtransactions and loot box. They'll all be rebranded and slightly different, and it'll look different. It'll be like we have new lottery cubes.
I think you're exactly right about Battlefront, unbalancing multiplayer. Like, what a no-brainer for people to be upset over that. But then there's still, all the cosmetics in Overwatch get a pass, for example. Like nobody
But
cares.
that doesn't affect gameplay.
Sure,
So-
but people are mad about cosmetics in other games.
That's dumb.
No, but the cosmetics, and this is still I'm not saying this like this is wrong or right about Overwatch, but the cosmetics still matter if it's random. So it's like if I can buy whatever I want, like MMOs,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to save up for it and spend my money, like people are less wary about that than every time you purchase something, it's 99 cents,
Yeah.
and it's a little box, and you might get the same thing over and over again.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
again, that's
That's,
collecting cards, right?
Yeah.
That is the
That's why
concept there.
they
But it
designed the
feels
game to
worse and
allow
worse.
you to get duplicates. They're just like, well, I had a 1 in 10
Yeah.
chance of getting what I wanted, and I didn't get it, and that's how the cookie crumbles. But it's like they could give you, if you have 9 of the 10 things, they could give you the 10th thing.
Yeah.
But they don't. They're designed not to do that. And even the sort of benevolent companies that are on your side a little bit more.
That is very dangerous.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
where the gambling addiction stuff
Yeah.
comes in, which we've talked about many times.
Yeah.
It preys on a certain type of person.
So the microtransactions are being removed from Shadow of War, but not immediately. These changes won't go into effect until May 8th, which is right around the time that their new story expansion comes out.
So buy those orcs. Get on it.
And this game came out in early October. And then, so on May 8th, players will no longer be able to purchase gold with real world money, but then the market won't be closed for good until July 18th.
If someone already.
Yeah. You still have
You actually
gold
paid
to
real world money.
spend.
Might as well spend it.
I know. It's just not like we turned them off. The
You
microtransactions
can
are
earn
gone.
that money in the game. Like I had a
Yeah.
little bit of it.
Yeah,
but
you
I
played
can't
through the whole
remember.
game and never spent any
No,
extra money, right?
Yeah, well, I never even spent that money.
They do. It's
You don't need
interesting
it. It's so
seeing
easy to get orcs. It's the best part of the game.
the way that stuff like this is sunsetted. So first of all, as I come from a mobile games background, it's so crazy to see this stuff bleed its way over into console games. And you would see every flavor of, service games be shut down. And, the best ones would say, hey, look, we're shutting this game down, but if you spent $50 in this game, we're going to give you $50 in our new game, or some way to compensate you. Or, we're shutting it down in 3 months. And sometimes I've seen mobile games say, we're going to give everybody everything. You get everything under the sun, everything's unlocked, and then the game's shutting down in 2 weeks, and they just let people go, apeshit on it for a while. But then you see the opposite, where they're just like, someone could have spent $100, and they're like, yeah, we're shutting down, bye.
Well, I wonder what this means for the next Shadow of game. Like in the next Battlefront, right? There's no way they can be like, and we still got microtransactions and loot boxes.
I was pretty disappointed in Shadow of War. I don't know how.
I liked it a lot. I know Sam liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it did have that stretched out ending where you do the same thing over and over again.
I just, the first game I thought had a lot of potential, and it was like a proof of concept for the Nemesis system, and it was it was still a big-ish game, but it's just Mordor, right? I'm like, the sequel's going to be Middle-earth. It's going to be great. You're going to be running around the, Misty Mountains and
Definitely
stuff.
more Mordor.
But yeah, it was still very grim and dark, and your character isn't very interesting or likable, in my opinion. And it's not,
agree with that.
The game didn't go and grow in the direction I expected it to or wanted it to. I wanted like a third-person action-adventure game set in Middle-earth.
For me, it's like Batman. I think the first one is focused, and it has a narrower focus with Arkham Asylum, with like a better, just cohesive. Like by the end of the game, like I got just what I wanted out of that game, and I learned the system. And it was really exciting. And then I thought I'd want more, and I actually didn't want more.
Yeah.
And I know people don't agree on that. Like a lot of people like City a lot better. I'm sure people like this second game better too.
The Office has swung back around to Asylum. It's interesting to see that pendulum.
You think so?
I mean, it did in our top 100.
All right, it is April, which means it is time to visit our retro magazine rack, and we're going back to April 1999, the April 1999 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly. Let's get in the headspace of what we were playing in 1999. The cover. What is that?
PlayStation 1.
Yeah,
PS2's on the horizon.
N64 is out there.
I wasn't reading EGM because I was reading IGN for free.
Yeah, in that time. Yeah, that's like early IGN days.
Yeah.
I didn't have broadband yet, so.
The cover story is Gamers' Choice Awards. I would go to a coffee shop that had like one of those like TV web surfing setups. We were surfing the web on a TV. Yeah, it was great.
What did you use, a mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
With like weird
It's called like
resolution?
OnTouch or something like that. Huh. Anyway, cover story is the Gamers' Choice Awards. They're picking the best of 1998. These awards are coming out in April. Obviously, I think we all know what is considered the best of 1998. Yeah. Ocarina of Time.
Does it have it by console?
Yeah, things can start.
Dude, Damon, you've had these. I mean, we do this once a month, and I love the magazines from the 80s because they're so crazy. But this is the first one that I've been like, this was my era. Like,
yeah. I've gotten a few comments from listeners that, we do like stuff from the early 90s and late 80s, and they're like, man, I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
So I was trying to pick something that was a little bit more.
Do you know what you were playing in 99? Pokemon Silver?
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And, 99, Majora's Mask came out.
That was the Dreamcast, too.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
Dreamcast was already in 99?
Yeah, it was $99.99.
Yeah. I thought Majora's Mask was 2000.
It
had
may have been 2000.
because
Ocarina
was 8. Yeah.
You're right.
That's splitting hairs, though. It's close.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were excited for it. I read about it on IGN in 1999.
Majora's Mask was the first sequel I read about and got excited for.
Same. That's exactly right. And I remember reading IGN 64 and seeing like postage stamp size screenshots of like some of the stuff in that game. It was really funny.
Well, there's an ad here for something called Time Trimmers. What? It says, now maybe, it's like a picture of a door. It says, now maybe your mom will stop wondering why you're spending so much time in the bathroom. And then it just says Time Trimmers, the Continuum Project, and Cherry Coke. And it says, check out the free Time Trimmers game at cherrycoke.com.
What does that mean? What? Are you playing it in the bathroom? What does that mean?
Researching this today, you can't find any information on what this was.
We need to go to the Internet Archive.
Well, yeah, I guess I could try the Internet Archive.
This is history.
Searching Time Trimmers Cherry Coke yields nothing about whatever this was.
Trimmers.
Time Trimmers.
I'm so weirded out by like
What?
In the year 2018, it just never crosses my mind that no one's written a Tumblr post about some weird Time Trimmers Cherry Coke game. You just can't find it. Like,
all right,
is that a Majora's Mask screenshot?
This is I can't tell if it's Majora's Mask.
No,
it shouldn't be. This is
Ocarina.
Yeah, because this is an article about this new tech. The company's called Connectix, and they had something called Virtual Game Station, which was a PlayStation emulator that was it was designed to be run on G3 equipped Macintosh computers.
Wow, that would have
just
been
a Mac PlayStation emulator.
Yeah. So this is in 1999.
It's incredibly illegal.
Yeah. So there's an article about that, and then the article explains how Sony sued them. And then
that's interesting.
A quick perusal of the Connectix Wikipedia site told me that Connectix would eventually sell its tech to Sony. Sony would bury it, so it would never be seen again. And then 3 years later, Connectix went out of business.
Wow.
So that's what happened with that story.
This is also like right in the .com height.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pets.com.
Yeah, so this and you can see just the layout of this magazine is totally Wired inspired. It's really funny to see that. Like, it doesn't look like EGM, it looks like Wired.
Yeah, that's true.
It's also one of those things where, like, in '99, not that was the dark ages, but, like, emulation and ROMs and piracy, like, people are still, like, some startup is like, you can play PlayStation games on your Mac, it's fine. And then they just got sued into oblivion. And it's like,
it's totally what happened. Too.
But that's
really
pretty impressive. Like, it's still a little bit difficult to emulate PlayStation games today. Even with just like what the tools we have available now. So that's still pretty impressive.
Is that Trip Hawkins?
This is an interview with Trip Hawkins, formerly of EA. He started the 3DO company, but this is by '99. The 3DO
starring Gex.
Several years old. It was a colossal failure. So the article is just about how the 3DO company is transitioning to making software instead of just hardware. I don't know what Trip Hawkins is doing today. And then on the following page, there's an interesting story about how, I wrote this down here, Tiger Woods, the PlayStation version of Tiger Woods' '99 PGA Tour shipped with the South Park short, The Spirit of Christmas by accident.
They had to recall them all, didn't they?
What?
How? What?
Yeah, how does that happen?
The Tiger Woods game, that year, the PlayStation version shipped with this Christmas short from the South Park show on the disc. And if you happened to put the disc in your PC, you could watch it and view what some people might find objectionable.
A track on the disc was the game, and then a track on the disc was the South Park short.
Yeah,
if I recall,
by accident.
How?
It's an EA game. It's crazy. It's
But here's what I think, if I recall right. I hope I'm not misremembering. But they used to pad out to reduce the loading times in CD games. They would pad out. They'd have dummy data on them so that the game data that you needed to load, the level data or whatever, would be in the right spot on the disc, so it wouldn't have to spin as much. And they would put dummy data on it, and they used the South Park short as the dummy data to pad out the disc and reduce the load times.
Yeah. It's like...
what a weird thing.
I know, yeah.
And then I think they recalled them all.
Wow.
They actually provide an address here where you can mail in if you want a replacement copy.
Why?
It's just
get that off
free
my
South
game.
Park.
I know, free South Park. And it's just like EA's address in Redwood Shores. That's funny.
What if you say, I'm going to send one there now.
They have a quick segment called Good News, Bad News, where they just give hot takes on what's good news and bad news. And one of the good news is video games. It says video games have become so mass market, thanks to the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, that magazines like Time and Rolling Stone are putting together special issues just to cover the digital age. It's proof that electronic entertainment is here to stay.
Wow.
I guess they're right about that.
Well, those special sections weren't here to stay.
That's true. The import pick of the month was Jammer Lammy.
Yeah. Love that game.
That one's really good.
There's a really good metal song in that game.
I don't remember the words though. What was this? In Quarterman's section, there's a rumor about Munch's Odyssey, which would be a sequel to Abe's Odyssey, but it would come after Abe's Exodus, right?
Oddworld games?
Yeah, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, then Abe's Exodus, and then Munch's Odyssey. So the rumor was that it's going to be an unusual and that it covers pretty much all major genres, will be 3D, and won't be available for any existing format, which is correct because it was an original OG Xbox.
Yeah, I was going to say it was an exclusive
several years later.
Does Quarterman have anything else?
Yeah, but it's not very interesting, this issue.
Quarterman was a fake personality that would put rumors that were real.
Respond to rumors, yeah.
In EGM every month.
Yeah. In the preview gallery later on for the PlayStation, there's a short preview of Grand Theft Auto Mission Pack #1, London 1969.
Yeah.
So remember, this is pre-GTA 3.
Top-down GTA.
So GTA was like we were just talking about how big GTA 5 is. GTA 3 had not yet arrived and
I remember those mission packs.
Turned the entire world onto it. It just says Rockstar is bringing out the first ever add-on disc for the PlayStation. Grand Theft Auto Mission Pack #1 is not only a mouthful of a title, but it's a set of new missions that makes fun of British TV and films of the 60s and 70s.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I was going to say, was it the 60s one?
It eventually just came out as GTA London.
Oh, is that true?
Yep.
That's the same thing.
And you know what that was inspired by in 1999? It's from Austin
Powers. Yeah.
It's so funny. What a weird time.
I love page 99 is one of those win a trip to E3 contests, which I feel like as long as E3 has been a thing, there have been win a trip to E3.
Yeah, and Jared Petty won one of those, and that's how we all met.
That's really?
He won one for IGN.
Yeah.
Yes. And and he was already freelancing, and that's how I knew him.
Huh.
Well, yeah.
He was hired from that.
This is in courtesy of IDOS Interactive and Ziff Davis.
Oh boy.
Our overlords currently. And it says you'll get sneak preview of fall's hottest games, Daikatana, Fighting Force 2, Omicron, Anachronox, Commandos 2.
Don't know these games.
You'll meet John Romero and Lara Croft.
Cool.
Wait,
He was there.
wait.
That's what it says.
Okay.
I don't remember when Lara Croft. What a pair.
You'll meet a game developer and a fictional character. And then finally, on page 107, we'll get to the Gamers' Choice Awards here for 1998, and they've put EGM's picks right next to the Gamers' Choice picks. So first of all, the 8 biggest news stories of 98 were the Dreamcast. I guess it was like got its full unveiling. Zelda, of course. Ocarina of Time came out in 98. The Game Boy Color.
Cool.
Pokemon.
Interesting.
Pokemon number 1.
98?
The first Pokemon was 98.
It was 96, right?
Yeah.
So
But, I mean, because it was definitely before Game Boy.
which Pokemon?
It says in September of 98, Nintendo released Pokemon Red and Blue.
Oh crap.
Really?
Yeah. Pocket Station. That was like a PDA peripheral
little,
for
like-
the PlayStation.
Tamagotchi-like
Yeah.
thing.
Final Fantasy VIII. Square EA. Do you even know that was a thing? For a while, Square and EA had a partnership
EA
to publish
published their
games.
games.
Yeah. In Japan, and EA would publish them here.
Yeah. That was when they were still Squaresoft, I think.
It would continue until Square and Enix,
Yep.
Squaresoft and Enix would merge. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah,
Finally, Thrill Kill being canceled was the biggest story of 98. That was the hyper-violent
remember that.
4-player
Yeah.
fighting game from EA that was canceled before it was
I
released.
think EA's logo is like on the Final Fantasy VIII like jewel case for PS1. Like I think they distributed their games in America.
That's interesting. Nintendo 64 Game of the Year, of course, Legend of Zelda. Saturn Game of the Year was Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Ooh, what a game.
PlayStation Game of the Year is Metal Gear Solid. So it is easy
What a
to
year.
forget.
It's a really good
Pokemon,
year.
Metal
Yeah.
Gear
It's
Solid.
easy to forget. Metal Gear Solid came out the
Panzer.
same year as Ocarina
Dude,
of
98 is
Time.
one of the great. I remember this from
Yeah.
History of Awesome. It's
And
one of the greatest
Banjo-Kazooie.
games of all time.
Yeah.
Years of all
That,
time.
that
for
was the
games.
year that I really started playing games. Like I'd always had a Super Nintendo, but that year I got Pokemon. And then Pokemon made me get a 64, which made me get Zelda. And that just
And that
I
was
just
it.
kept playing games.
And now
after
you're
that.
here.
Pokemon
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yes.
Pokemon
Stadium.
Snap.
All right.
Hey, you Pikachu.
We don't have enough time to run through all the games in there. But I love that there is a post-it note left in the magazine from Ziff Davis Media back when they were on up the street on 2nd Street. And there's just 2 reminders. Number 1, email MPD. And number 2, email Red Octane.
Whoa,
What would, and
So-
it's on a bookmark page. Maybe there's Red Octane.
Not
that's
on this
really
page.
funny. Did
Well,
like Dan
maybe,
Shu
yeah.
make that note?
I don't know, but it's pretty crazy. So, like, of course,
Red Octane that's obviously way before Guitar Hero.
it's before Guitar Hero. I don't know what
What did they make?
peripherals they would have
Peripherals.
been make some sort of peripherals.
Because Red Octane didn't make they made the controller.
I don't
I mean,
think
it's on
they're.
a page about peripherals.
Yeah, but I don't see Red Octane listed as any of these manufacturers.
that.
That's
so-
really wild. That reminds
Fancy
me of the
baseball
time.
memory card.
What's
Yeah.
a baseball
Sports.
memory card?
Yeah, look. There's like a baseball and
yeah.
football.
Just through like
It goes in your PlayStation?
Hold on, yeah.
through random corporate happenstance, companies are bought and sold and traded like business card, like baseball cards. And we had all the Ziff Davis. We inherited all their stuff, all the old EGM stuff, and we found it's got Dan Shu's name written on it. We found their Smash Brothers memory card that had all their their Office Smash save data on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, they have peripheral reviews in here, and then they review something called the Dex Drive, which they give a 9.5 out of 10. Does anyone remember what the Dex Drive was?
Was that like the modern day cheating, like the modern
No,
day?
but it allowed you to.
Copy saves,
It was a device.
right?
It would read your saves, and then you could copy your save files from your memory cards to your computer. So instead of having to buy extra memory cards, you could just transfer saves back and forth.
But that's what you could you could download other people's saves that had max level stuff.
see.
Oh,
That's
good for
cool.
cheating.
Yeah, because memory cards were expensive, and I remember I had a whole carrying case just for my memory cards. And of course, they do have these sports cards that are just shaped like a football and a baseball. And then here, finally on page 119, Sam, you waited all this time, is a review for a peripheral called Game Shorts.
Game shorts.
That are shorts that you put on that have all sorts of wires coming out, and it says it's the strangest peripheral we've ever come across, but the thing actually works really well. Plug it in, strap it tight, and jack it up. Now you're ready for action.
What?
Yeah, the Game Shorts add-on is a bit
I
perverse,
know why we're reading this.
but if the shoe fits, wear it, and this thing fits like a glove.
So what does
Is
it
that the
do?
full write up?
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't say what they
Guys,
do.
What does it
guys,
do?
remember
guys,
what
guys.
month this issue is published.
They got you. So when Damon pulled that out,
Gotcha.
the first thing I said is "What's April Fool's prank?" But I
gotcha.
didn't know what it was till now either. So that's
19
cool.
years later. Yeah, that's their April Fool's
Where do they
joke.
reveal that
The
it's
Game
where
Shorts?
they
They don't even
reveal-
reveal it. It's from the makers, Mad Props with a Z.
Yeah.
I remember Nintendo Power had a whole spread about how they were making pipes where you can teleport like the green Mario pipes, and I was a little kid, and I was like, I brought it to my parents. I was like, this isn't real, is it? And they're like, no, yeah, that's totally gonna happen, because my parents were jerks.
Yeah.
And then I believed them.
That's cute.
In the review section, they have Mario Party.
Nice.
Give
What
it very favorable reviews. 8.5s and a 9.0.
Yeah, that was fun at the time.
But then on PlayStation, Bust a Move 99, Dan Shu gave it a 1. And listen to how he opens his review. Should you buy Bust a Move 99 for the PlayStation? Yes, definitely, without a doubt. That is if you fall into each and every one of these categories. You don't own Bust a Move 3, and you don't own Bust a Move 4, and you are a diehard crazy psychopath Bust a Move fool, and you can't find a copy of Bust a Move anywhere.
So I remember the Bust a Move glut, and I have Bust a Move 99 for Nintendo 64, and it's a really good game. But you would go and you would look at all the Bust a Moves.
It was the exact same game.
And they're the same games, and there's so many variations. Because they made a few for America, they made a few for arcades, and they made a few for Japan. And then they just put those all out at once in all systems at one time.
It's
really
too
funny.
Too much Bust a Move.
So that got a 1 from Dan, but somebody else gave it a 7.
Yeah. That's, you never know what you're going to get. They also review Silent Hill. So I guess, well, no, that would have been 99, but Silent Hill got 8.5s and a 9. And finally, on page 138, there's an op-ed about emulation and how it's bad news for the industry. Emulation is no cause for celebration. Written by Sean Smith.
And I think Justin was kind of alluding to this. Like, this was the time in which the NES emulators were definitely out. People were using them, and it was remarkable. I went, my first year of college was 1999, and I went, I had like a Gateway PC, and somebody showed me you could get like every Super Nintendo game on it, and they worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Then, 99. It's crazy.
Yeah. There you have it, the April 99 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly. And that brings us to Video Game 20 questions. Does Justin have time to play?
No.
Okay, Justin's
Sorry.
going to bow out.
How many
Oh,
questions
no.
can you ask?
I can't ask 0 questions.
Ask one.
First of all, our suggestion comes from Michael in Beaumont, Texas.
Did this game originally come out on a cart?
No.
Oh.
Not.
Bye.
Later,
Could
Justin.
be the decisive
All
question.
right.
Not
Are you
gonna-
ready to guess
So,
the game?
Yeah,
that
we
means
got
it came
this.
out on a disc, right? Or a PC?
Or downloadable.
Yeah. Okay. You ask question first.
Was this a downloadable only game?
No.
Okay.
The early disc era. So we can go with years,
Yeah.
or we can go with
Right.
console generations.
Did it come out in the 2000s?
What do you are we in the 2000s now?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Are you asking if it came out between 2000 and 2010?
From 2000 to now.
Yes.
Okay. Narrowed it down to 17 years or 18 years.
Oh boy. Was this a so it came out on disc, so that doesn't help with this question. Okay, was this a console exclusive?
No.
Multi-platform?
Was this primarily a multiplayer game?
Yes.
Nice. Would you say, was this from after 2007?
Yes.
I just split the years.
Yeah.
Arbitrary.
I just split them.
Okay, so after 2007, not an exclusive, primarily multiplayer.
Is it part of a series?
Well, for your sake, can you be a little bit more specific?
Were there games with, like the same game name in its title that came out before or after it?
Yes.
But maybe not numbered or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Do you use guns as your main weapon?
No.
Would this count as a massively multiplayer game?
No.
So multiplayer, competitive, or co-op?
Mm-hmm. Not download only, so it could come on a disc.
Mm-hmm. Multi-platform. Was it this developed in the was this developed in Japan?
No. That's 10.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We'll
be fine.
Can you create your own character?
No.
That's interesting. Was this? I really want to get a generation down. Did this come out during the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation?
No.
What about the next generation after that?
Which is the current one?
Is it?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
You're spinning a question on that?
Well, how about we go with the PS2 Wii generation?
Okay, no, it's not part of that generation.
Okay, so it has to be current then, right?
Yeah.
Do you use weapons?
Yes.
All right. So
I was thinking maybe it's a
we're doing
racing
pretty
game or
good now.
something.
We have
Okay.
like a contemporary-ish game from after 2007. So it sounds like it's not, if it's not from the Xbox 360 era, which ended 5 years ago, then we should be made in the shade to say that it's coming out. It's come out pretty recently. Multiplayer, you got your weapons, you're fighting.
But
Could be Castle Crashers.
guns aren't your primary weapon.
Yeah. Is this a does this have a realistic graphical style
Yeah. Yes.
and part of a series? So, I mean, like, could be in any of your Battlefields, Call of Duties. Well, no, because no guns, but something like that.
And you can't create your own character.
Yeah.
Maybe we should dabble in the brawler area.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
why I was thinking for
But it's
Castle
also
Crashers.
not a console exclusive.
I can't think of a
Yeah.
realistic looking brawler either.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so colorful. We can get genre down though. I mean, it's not a shooter, right?
Yeah, it's not a shooter. But you use weapons, so it's not a racing game. Unless it is a racing game in which you use weapons.
Good point.
Like Mario Kart.
Yeah. Is this a brawler?
No.
Yeah. Stretch. Let's see here.
PvP and co-op.
What would you ask for that? That's fine.
Is this a co-op game?
It is. It can be.
All right.
It's
wondering-
intended to be. I'll say
Okay.
that, but
Gotcha.
isn't always played that way.
Okay. So what would be a game where you can like beat each other up, turn on your friends, something like that? Like, it's Smash
Yeah.
Brothers like, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming it is, or
Well, it can't
It's
be because
intended
it's
to be a
not made in
co-op
Japan, and then it's
and
not.
it's multiplayer.
Yeah. Should we just ask if it's a fighting game, and then we don't have anything to go on after that?
But you do use weapons. I guess
Yeah.
some fighting
There's like
characters
games
use
like
weapons.
Duck Game, which are like Smash Brothers knockoffs, which I would start going towards, or
Yeah.
but that's not really co-op friendly. Like, it's gonna be something like that. Should we ask if it's an indie game?
Yeah.
Is this an indie game?
Well, I guess it would be classified as an indie game. It's not. It doesn't have a big
Ooh.
publisher
Ooh.
behind it.
But it's part of like something that has some other games in the series.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You have 2 questions left.
I think I know. It's interesting to think of like a game that you can play with friends, but you can beat each other up and mess with each other in it.
Yeah.
Kind of part of a series. It's on everything.
No, guns aren't your primary weapon. I was
Brawler
thinking-
would match a
Well,
lot of
'cause
these.
I
And
was
it's not.
thinking-
So
Yeah, because I was thinking like Fortnite, but guns aren't your primary weapon. So
and it's not. I would call. I don't know if you should call those massively multiplayer, but they kind of are because.
well, you
they're,
said it's not.
I know. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to eliminate those
Yeah,
Battle
yeah.
Royale type games. And then like the co-op thing, I don't understand. Like, do you always work in teams in some multiplayer games?
Maybe we should.
Like, could it be Sea of Thieves?
I should have. Oh. I should have asked if there's a.
You can still ask.
Well, we only have 2 questions left, so now
It
I'm
can't be Sea of
nervous.
Thieves because of the graphical style.
True. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's
But I
kind
think
of
it's something like that.
tripping me up as well.
And it's supposed to be realistic, so it's not Duck Game.
What about
And it's indie, so it can't be either of those things anyway. I think that would not count as an indie game because it's such.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's what
Yeah.
is going to help us a lot. I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go from here.
Yeah.
Well,
This is.
let's bring it home.
I got
Okay.
excited because you said after 2000. I was like, yeah, I probably played it, but now I'm like, I don't know.
Is it a sci-fi game?
It's not sci-fi.
Okay.
All right.
Should we ask if there's a campaign?
We can't ask anything more.
Oh, that's it?
We're out of
We're gonna-
questions.
Oh
To guess the game now.
no.
It might be a stretch, but what about like those zombie killing games like Dead Island that are meant
Oh.
Yeah, that have like that kind of stuff in them.
But we're too far out.
Or
It was
Left 4 Dead.
yeah, or that's not an indie game though.
True game.
Or what's the I don't know. There's like Rust and like stuff like that too.
So many actually. Now that I think about it.
All right, is this Sonic and Knuckles?
No, it is not Sonic and Knuckles. All right, it was released last summer. A multiplayer game, asymmetrical multiplayer game from a long-running franchise that I reviewed. It's Friday the 13th. The game.
So we could have asked about licensing for that.
Yeah.
It's weird
License.
for contemporary games.
Yeah.
Man, I never played it. Yeah.
Oh no.
We were there though with the multiplayer and the realistic, like like you can see where there's not many games in that.
No.
We would just need to come
Yeah.
up with a name at that point.
I think we narrowed it down pretty well.
Yeah.
But if either of
Yeah,
us
when
had
you were
played
getting
it,
to like the area of like Sea of Thieves, that's at least in like the wheelhouse.
yeah.
So we didn't ask if it could have been a cartridge between the cartridge and the system, which is Sonic and Knuckles. So it could have been Sonic. And
Yeah,
Knuckles.
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Did that come out after 2007?
It came out in 1993, I believe.
Okay. So
Time with cyclical.
Came out after 87.
It came out after 1987.
Better luck next time. Thank you for the suggestion.
Do you think
Michael
Justin would have gotten that?
in Beaumont, Texas. I don't know.
All right.
But do you think it is harder with just two people? You don't have a
Yes.
third person.
yeah, we have a whole other brain.
You don't have
Yeah.
time. You really need time to think when you're playing 20 questions.
Yeah.
You don't. And if you have to think about the next question to ask, you're not processing what the game is.
Maybe when it's just two people, we should give you a handicap, like 25 questions.
I agree with that.
I don't think 5 questions would have got us. Maybe.
Real quick before we go, what are we going to play this weekend? Still Monster Hunter?
Yeah, I have a secret game I can't talk about that I'm playing,
Play the secret game.
and I want to play Minute.
Yeah, that's out now. Yeah, that's I think it's roguelike. You play 60 seconds at a time.
And it's like Game Boy style, like inverted though graphics.
What about you, Casey?
Also secret game, but I also want to finish Divinity and
Oh, wow. The first one?
second one.
Same to me, too.
I'm at the very end, and Monster Hunter came around, and I stopped playing.
Wow.
yeah.
I played the first Divinity. Loved it.
And then Monster Hunter also has a spring festival going on with all of the event quests are coming back until April 20th. So I'm going to go play some event
Spring
quests.
Festival, is that what you said?
Yeah, they're changing some of the aesthetics around the main hub, and they're bringing back all of the event quests.
Cool.
Mad Max is part of PlayStation Plus this month. So I finally downloaded that and checked that out. Played
Neat desertscapes in that game.
yeah, I mean, I think that's all it is. But I liked it. It's like totally fun. I missed it. I just never got around to playing it when it came out in 2015, I think. Several years old now, but my first impression was like, yeah, this is totally fun. I'll totally play this. And the price is right on that one.
The last Mad Max movie was so good.
Yes, yeah. It's
Just
really good.
fantastic.
It actually did make me want to. I haven't watched that one.
I watched Alien and Aliens this past weekend,
That's amazing.
and they're both just like so delightful.
So
still,
perfect. They're both like perfect.
They're really really fun movies. Have you seen those?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are the only
been a while,
two
though.
Alien movies that were made. That's true. All right, that's all the scoops we have here this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Casey. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.